Hi kids, great to see you, and thanks so much for tuning in and sharing time with me. Since I started doing these broadcasts, I think a lot of people have been interested in when I started doing Sooty, and as far as I can make out, I think it was about 1979, 1980, around there. It was just one morning and I thought, how can I make it easier for kids when they come to see me? And it started off, so you get a little kid coming in and, Sooty, what do you want? What do you want? What? You want to wave at that little boy? Do you mind if he waves at you? Do you mind? Oh, good, good. Have a little wave. That's very, very good. Now, Sooty, get back in your drawer. I'm trying to get this little boy better. He's been very poorly, you know. Yes, you wait in your drawer. You learn so much about children when you reach out to them. The first thing is, children are very, very honest, and they'll rattle Sooty. They used to say, Doctor, he's popped up again. Sooty, get back in your drawer. You be a good boy. And overnight, Sooty became a celebrity, and I knew I was onto something really good on communicating with children. I even got stopped in the supermarket. I remember it was at a Tesco's, and this little boy came up to me and said, Doctor, have you got Sooty with you? So Sooty was an overnight success. And I use Sooty all the time. I always had him in the drawer for emergencies. Like, for instance, if somebody wasn't happy with what I told them, and I give them my best opinion, I said, would you like a second opinion? You know, just to put your mind at rest. I won't be offended. Okay, 1 minute. Sooty, what do you think? Yeah, Sooty agrees with me, actually. Now, the rather odd thing is, and you know that I've lectured in over 20 countries, and yet the take-up on Sooty has been very, very small, very, very low. I know of only a handful of people who started using puppets, in spite of my enthusiasm for the subject. Some doctors are very, very serious. In fact, even one of my flatmates, I shared a flat with 2 people at medical school, and one of them, when the other flatmate, who sat in with me and watched me using Sooty, he just couldn't believe it. He said, oh my God, I don't believe it. You must be taking the mickey. Surely no one would ever use puppets in the surgery. That's unbelievable, I don't believe it. Mind you, he had good reason to be a bit dubious about my credentials, because of a couple of contretemps, a couple of incidents when we were medical students. I remember one time I'd failed a very important exam, and I just wanted to forget everything. I was drinking beer with double whiskey chasers, and I woke up the next morning with one mother and father of a hangover. And I said to him, oh my God, what a head, I must have been drunk last night. He pulled himself up very proudly. He said, yes, you bloody well were drunk last night. There was myself and Susan and Colin and his wife eating our fish and chips. You walked in stark scrotum naked, peed over the sideboard, walked out again. Bloody disgraceful. Well, I was so embarrassed and ashamed initially. And there were other incidents that we had, like when I accidentally burnt the kitchen down. Accidentally, mind you, accidentally. I mean, I was only a normal medical student, but he obviously had a fairly low opinion. And there are serious doctors around. There was a local doctor who was a bit of a legend. I was dying to meet him. I'd heard all about him. He was a pilot and a brilliant guy. And I put the word out through the district nurse that I wanted to meet this guy. And his response was, well, I've no desire whatsoever to meet him. So there are these very, very serious people around. The story, by the way, about the sideboard and I wondered whether to tell you, but you are my patients, most of you. And I want to, what's the point in not being honest? Boris, are you listening? Just be honest with us, please. When there's new information coming, don't immediately think, how can I present myself in a good light on this? How can I cover my butt? Just tell us the truth. We can cope. In our darkest hour, when Germany was about to invade Britain, and indeed they should have done. They had the wherewithal to do it. In our darkest hour, the one thing was that Churchill was honest with us. And we knew that. And mistakes, honest mistakes, you forgive them. Look at Churchill's disastrous mistakes. You forgive people. And the other thing is you learn from your mistakes. Like, for instance, setting targets. Boris just asked people on the NHS the disastrous effects of setting these stupid targets. And they will tell you, don't set them, just say, we'll do as many as we possibly can. That'll do. And take advice from other people on how to get as many of these tests done as you can. So in this spirit of communication, I'm going to show you very shortly the finest laugh to help you deal with, it's almost like physiotherapy, this laugh I'm going to teach you. But as a segue into this, I'm going to tell you a joke which I shouldn't really tell you. My wife has banned me from telling this joke, but I'm going to tell it you anyway, in this spirit of honesty and communication. So this fellow goes into it, he sees this fellow, he said, how are you? Oh, he said, I've just had an awful experience. Oh yes, what happened? Oh, I was with this woman in her flat, and suddenly we heard the key turn in the lock, and it was her husband. Oh God, that's terrible. Oh, it gets worse, it gets worse. There I was in my socks and my underpants. I had nowhere to hide. I'd hang out the window in my socks and my underpants. Oh my God, that's terrible. It gets worse, it gets worse. There I was, hanging there, in my socks and my underpants. This big fella, 6'3", about 19 pints of Guinness inside him. He hadn't been in long, in a foul temper, comes over to the window, drops his trousers, stuck his... Oh, he didn't. He bloody did. Weed all over me. There I was hanging there, in my socks and my underpants, covered in weed. Oh my God, that's terrible. It gets worse, it gets worse. There I was hanging there, in my socks and my underpants, covered in wee. This big fella, 6'3", 19 pints of Guinness inside him, lets out a couple of burps, come over to the window. Oh no, he didn't. He bloody did. Vomited all over me. There I was hanging there, in my socks and my underpants, covered in wee and vomit. Oh my God, that's terrible. It gets worse, it gets worse. There I was hanging there, in my socks and my underpants, covered in wee and vomit. This big fella, 6'3", 19 pints of Guinness inside him, comes over, dropped his trousers, stuck his bottom out. Oh, I didn't. He bloody did. Crapped all over me. There I was hanging there, in my socks and my underpants, covered in wee and vomit and crap. Oh my God, that is terrible. It gets worse, it gets worse. There I was hanging there, in my socks and my underpants, covered in wee and vomit and crap. And this big fella, 6'3", 19 pints of Guinness inside him, he's in a foul temper, and he comes over to the window and he slams it down on my fingers, and it hurts, and I have to let go, and I'm only 6 inches off the bloody floor. Right, that is a segue into what's been called well, originally, when it was invented, it was called the finger cocking cackle, or the FKK. More recently, it's called the physiotherapy alternative laugh, which is the PAL. And I'm going to demonstrate this now for you. If you're going to get physiotherapy, it's going to be very, very difficult with the coronavirus. This is one you can do for yourself. And this is how you do it. It was called the finger cocking cackle, because you cock your finger like this. You take the biggest breath you can possibly take, and then you release it in an explosive laugh. I'm going to demonstrate it now for you. This mobilizes all the mucociliary action, all the defensive mechanisms in your lungs. If you feel an infection coming on, you do this laugh, and I pray God that it will protect you. Thanks for sharing this with me. You're wonderful.